There are 7 things killing your wealth, yet nobody's talking about it. So let's picture it. Your buddy cruises by in his shiny new Tesla. Another friend floods your Instagram with her third Caribbean getaway this year. And there you are, genuinely wondering if ramen qualifies as nutritionally complete. Sound familiar? Trust me, your money management isn't the culprit. It's the hidden forces quietly picking your financial pocket. Ready for some truth bombs? Let's unmask these secretive 7 wealth killers that are sabotaging your bank account while flying completely under the radar. When your income rises, beware the dangerous trap of thinking you suddenly deserve better everything. This lifestyle creep isn't just common, it's financially devastating. Think about it. You were perfectly content with Target sweatpants and basic streaming before, weren't you? Yet somehow that contentment vanishes with each additional dollar earned. Now you're drowning in $100 yoga pants and multiple streaming subscriptions that sit unused. Ask yourself, is that upgraded avocado toast actually improving your life, or just emptying your bank account? Financial freedom requires resisting these upgrades, no matter how easily you can afford them. Your future self will thank you. Wealth killer. Number 1, your car. Let's face it, your car isn't an asset, it's a liability. Think about this. Your car is actually a liability. Why? The second you drive it off the lot, its value plummets. Year after year, that shiny vehicle keeps losing value. Yet what do most of us do? We finance cars we can't really afford, essentially paying interest on something that's constantly depreciating and won't last forever. It's a financial treadmill we willingly step onto. The financial drain doesn't end with depreciation. Think about this. Your $150,000 Porsche will only get $67,000 on the market after 5 years, which is a terrible $83,000 loss. The figures become much more concerning when additional finance expenses are taken into account. Is it really worth it to forego the equivalent of a down payment on a home or college tuition for a car that loses value more quickly than traffic during rush hour? Consider what your wealth could contribute to in the future rather than letting it dwindle. We're facing a financial crisis of priorities in America today. Half our population, yes half, has made not a single investment. No stocks, no real estate, no business interests, no retirement accounts, nothing working to build their future wealth. Yet simultaneously, an astonishing 20% of car buyers are committing to vehicle payments exceeding $1,000 monthly. Let that sink in. If you're allocating $1,000 every month to a depreciating asset while contributing $0 toward investments that could generate wealth for decades, you're not just making a financial mistake, you're sacrificing your future security for the temporary illusion of prosperity. This must change. When reality calls for change, you've got to adapt, even if it means saying farewell to those all-inclusive resort vacations or trade-ins for the latest smartphone every year. I get it. Those indulgences have a way of making life feel sweeter, like a plush cushion for life's bumps. But here's the twist. I'm not asking you to live in deprivation or give up everything you love to chase financial freedom. No sacrifice-level misery required, I promise. Honestly, my goal is much bigger than that. It's about ensuring you can enjoy all those extras guilt-free without anxiety gnawing at your wallet every month. Freedom to live you actually deserve. But here's the catch. It's all about focus. Wealth killer number 2. Being cheap. This right here is an eye-opener. While being thrifty works in some areas of life, excessive cheapness ultimately betrays your financial goals. Yes, immediate gratification comes from seeing money remain in your account today. But make no mistake, this short-sighted approach often leads to significantly higher costs down the road. The question isn't whether you're saving money now, but whether your savings are setting you up for greater expenses tomorrow. Imagine this. You need a new pair of running shoes. Your old ones are falling apart, and every job feels like an audition for a foot pain commercial. But you're determined to save money. So she heads to the clearance aisle and picks up a $25 pair from a brand no one's ever heard of. Sounds like a win, right? Fast forward 2 months, those bargain shoes, completely wrecked. Worse now, you've been dealing with knee pain. Pain so bad that you need physical therapy, which costs you hundreds of dollars per session. Oh, and now you have to buy another pair of running shoes, which puts you back at square one. Here's the truth. Being cheap isn't the same as being smart with your money. You spent more on repairs and replacements than you would have if you'd invested in quality shoes up front. That's why cheap can be costly. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of spending. Wealth killer number 3, loans. So you want to renovate your kitchen. You've been dreaming of sleek countertops, shiny appliances, and a double oven that even Gordon Ramsay would approve of. Now let's break this down. You find a lender offering a 5-year loan with a 10% interest rate. On paper, it doesn't sound too bad. You figure, I'll pay it back in small monthly installments and my new kitchen will be worth it. So, what does that loan really look like? Over 5 years, your monthly payment comes out to roughly $637. That feels manageable and goes ahead with the renovation, signing the dotted line. But here's the twist. A $30,000 loan at 10% interest means you're actually paying much more than $30,000. With interest added in, by the time you paid it off, the total cost balloons to nearly $38,000. That's $8,000 extra just for borrowing the money. And it doesn't stop there. You see that 637 monthly payment starts eating into your budget. It's money you can't use to save or invest. Imagine if you had instead been putting that $637 into an investment account every month. Instead, your loan turned into what we call a destroyer of wealth. That $30,000 transformed into a financial vacuum, not only depriving you of $8,000 in interest, but also stealing what could have been tens of thousands of dollars in opportunity cost. And here's the kicker. Life doesn't wait. Midway through your loan repayments, you hit a rough patch. Your car breaks down, and you need $5,000 to fix it. Without savings to fall back on, you're forced to take on more debt, this time on a high-interest credit card. Now you're spiraling, one expense feeding into another, your financial stability slowly slipping away. The moral here? Loans may seem like the answer to your problems today, but they often compound your financial struggles instead of solving them. Sarah's story shows us the power of opportunity cost, the dangers of high interest rates, and the consequences of relying on borrowed money. Next time you're tempted by a loan, stop and think. Is it worth sacrificing your future wealth for momentary convenience? Remember, debt may fix the short term, but it almost always drains the long term. Wealth killer number 4. A big one. Impulse buying. I have been guilty of this one myself. Can we all say we've been guilty of this one, whether currently or not? Impulsive buying can truly ruin your life. It's 3 p.m. on a Friday, and you're scrolling through Instagram. Up pops an ad for the exact pair of sneakers you've been daydreaming about. Limited edition. Ultra cool. Only 2 left in stock, the caption warns, paired with a countdown timer. You hesitate for about 3 seconds and then click the link. Before you know it, the sneakers are in your cart, and you're filling out your shipping details. Never mind that the price is steep, or that the rent payment is due next week. You justify it by telling yourself, I deserve a treat after this week. Plus, it's a one-time thing. Fast forward a week later, the shoes arrive, and they are everything. You wear them proudly, until inevitably they lose their luster. You notice they pinch your feet a bit. They're hard to match with most of your wardrobe. Worst of all, other brands release new designs that suddenly feel more appealing. Now, those $250 sneakers sit quietly in your closet, barely worn, silently mocking you every time you look at your bank balance. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about one pair of sneakers. Impulse buying builds a pattern. You see something online or in the store, and it conjures up feelings of excitement and instant gratification. It's like therapy disguised as shopping. Except it doesn't just cost what S on the price tag. It costs your future financial stability. Over time, these purchases pile up. A trendy gadget here, a spontaneous dinner out there. They feel harmless in isolation, but together, they're draining your ability to save or invest in things that are truly meaningful. Let's take a real-life cautionary tale. Olivia, a 27-year-old with a decent job and steady income. She loved spontaneous shopping sprees, everything from designer handbags to overpriced coffee machines. Most of the time, she didn't even question whether she needed the items. If it caught her eye, she bought it. At first, her credit card made it all seem so easy. Swipe, own, repeat. But soon the bills started building. First a $300 handbag, then $150 for skincare products she used once. Then came interest charges because her payments didn't cover the full balance. It snowballed into $8,000 of credit card debt within 2 years. What's worse, Olivia took money from her savings account to cover minimum payments, draining every cent she was saving for her emergency fund. So when her car broke down unexpectedly, she had to borrow money from a payday loan service with outrageous interest rates. These cascading costs turned what seemed like harmless impulsive buying into full-blown financial chaos. Now, here's the reality. Impulsive buying isn't just about spending money on things you don't need. It's about delaying or even destroying goals that could have changed your life. The dream of owning your own home, starting a business, or even traveling the world, all of it takes a back seat because impulsive spending eats away at the foundation of wealth building, savings, and smart investments. So next time that Instagram ad pops up with its countdown timer and promise of limited stock, ask yourself, is this purchase worth more than your long-term goals? Because in the end, impulse shopping feels like treating yourself, but it's more often a trap and a wealth killer. Wealth killer, number 5. Know-it-all. Gurus. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to have all the answers? They're charismatic, they're confident, and they appear to know things the rest of us couldn't possibly understand. These are what we often call gurus, people who attract legions of followers with their advice on how to live, grow, and succeed. From investment experts to life coaches to spiritual guides, gurus seem to promise a shortcut to a better life. But here's the hidden truth. Sometimes, these individuals can take more from you than they give. In fact, they can become wealth killers. Let's break it down. First, gurus thrive on authority. They present themselves as experts, offering advice wrapped in appealing charisma. For example, investment gurus may tout their ability to predict market trends, convincing people to shift their portfolios, buy specific stocks, or even sink money into their branded courses or products. The problem? Financial markets are notoriously unpredictable. Even the most experienced investors get it wrong sometimes. But under the spell of a guru, people don't question. They follow blindly. And when it comes to money, blind faith can be devastating. Take the case of financial gurus who promote high-risk strategies without understanding the personal situations of their followers. Imagine someone selling you a dream, early retirement, a mansion, passive income streams, all achieved through their one-size-fits-all blueprint. It sounds tempting, right? Until you realize the only person making money here is the guru, profiting off seminars, premium subscriptions, or even cryptocurrency schemes that crash and burn while your savings go up in smoke. This isn't exclusive to finance. Lifestyle gurus do it too. They might promise that the path to happiness or success lies in expensive retreats, hard-to-follow diets, or overpriced products. These commitments often drain your wallet and leave you with little to show for it. Wanting to emulate someone else's lifestyle can spiral into keeping up with costs you cannot afford. And then there's the psychological toll. Gurus often discourage critical thinking among their followers. Many will say, "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." But here's the irony. The very act of uncritically trusting someone with your choices, be it financial, emotional, or spiritual, can lead to ruin. Decisions that should require careful research and reflection are instead outsourced to someone who doesn't have to live with the consequences. The bitter truth is that gurus rarely care about your best interests. Their success hinges on your loyalty, not your outcomes. The more devoted you are, the easier it becomes for them to sell you dreams, whether or not those dreams are tethered to reality. It's crucial to stay vigilant. Question claims. Do your own research and consult multiple reliable sources before making any decision, especially financial ones. Gurus might offer inspiration, but they shouldn't dictate your choices, because ultimately, your wealth and your life should be in your hands, not theirs. Wealth killer number 6, owning a home. Your primary residence isn't the investment opportunity most realtors claim it is. Think about it. These commission-motivated professionals convince you to buy bigger and more expensive homes by framing them as generational wealth builders and investments for your future. It's a compelling pitch that encourages spending more. But here's the uncomfortable truth that often triggers resistance. The home you live in generates zero actual income while you own it. When homeowners counter with, "My house appreciated $150,000 since purchase," They're missing the fundamental point. Ask yourself this critical question: how much of that theoretical gain has become tangible money in your possession? The hard reality is that those paper gains remain inaccessible until you sell. Let's be clear about your options. Refinancing extracts equity you'll pay interest on, while selling leaves you homeless. Your property isn't the wealth building machine you've been led to believe. It's a financial drain until the day you sell it. And even then, profit is far from guaranteed. I've personally purchased numerous foreclosures from desperate homeowners who couldn't recover their initial investment. Every month, your home silently consumes your wealth through mortgage payments, maintenance costs, property taxes, and insurance premiums. Before embracing the conventional wisdom about building wealth through home ownership, you must recognize this fundamental reality. Even after paying off your home, you still face property taxes, insurance, upkeep, maintenance, and upgrades. View your home as a liability, an expense, not an asset. Your true assets are stock investments, businesses, rental properties. By living in a smaller, less expensive home, you can redirect money to actual investments, savings, and debt reduction. This may feel uncomfortable, but housing remains most Americans' largest expense. When money is flying out your door, stop worrying about pennies. What's really impeding the generation of wealth is your home, not your coffee addiction or the occasional guacamole indulgence. Consider this: reducing your living expenses may instantly release $500, $1,000, or even $2,500 per month, which could then be converted into profitable investments. Wealth killer 7. Impulsive investing. Remember the early 2000s? It's early 2020. The world is just plunged into uncertainty as the COVID-19 pandemic sweeps across the globe. Millions are stuck at home, glued to their screens, feeling the gravity of the situation daily. But while many people are baking sourdough bread or binge-watching TV shows, another group is tapping away furiously on their phones, or more accurately, their trading apps. These aren't seasoned Wall Street professionals. They're everyday folks, newly interested in what seems to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The stock market is crashing, and the headlines are ablaze with conjecture about getting in at the bottom. Enter impulsive investing. Impulsive investing thrives in moments like this, when people act on emotion, not strategy. Instead of thoroughly researching stocks, funds, or economic trends, they make snap decisions based on a feeling, a hunch, or a tip they saw on social media. It's investing driven by gut reactions rather than long-term planning. Now, millions of people entered the stock market for the first time in 2020 during the pandemic. They saw it as a moment to get rich quick. But instead of careful deliberation, emotions often dictated their choices. After all, when you re-bombarded with sensational headlines like Zoom skyrocketing due to remote work boom or Tesla shares double in just months, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. This fear, the fear of missing out, or FOMO, is a powerful driver of impulsive investing. Let's dive into some examples from the pandemic frenzy. One striking case was Hertz. Hertz, a well-known car rental company, filed for bankruptcy in May 2020 after the travel industry collapsed. Normally, a company in bankruptcy is a red flag for investors. Shares in such a company tend to plummet, and there's a good chance they'll end up worthless. But something strange happened. Hertz's stock price surged after filing for bankruptcy. Why? Because small-time impulsive investors on social media forums like Reddit decided to bet big on Hertz, believing the price would soar anyway. For many, it wasn't an informed calculation, but rather a gamble on hype. Some people made money as the stock briefly rose, but many were left holding the bag when reality caught up and the stock nosedived. Why was impulsive investing so rampant during the pandemic? Well, it was a perfect storm. People were spending more time online, consuming vast amounts of financial content on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit. Stimulus checks gave many individuals disposable income they were willing to wager. And the psychological pressure of being home, coupled with the lure of market success stories, created an environment ripe for quick, emotion-driven decisions. But here's the harsh truth. Impulsive investing is like spinning a roulette wheel. You might win big once or twice, but you're likely to lose more often than you gain. Without a solid understanding of the market or a long-term plan, it's a recipe for financial stress and regret. The crashes of Hertz, GameStop, and Dogecoin demonstrated this firsthand. In the end, the pandemic and its turbulent markets taught us a valuable lesson. Investing isn't about chasing trends or acting on impulse. It's about patience, research, and a steady hand. For those caught in the frenzy, it was a wake-up call. A realization that success in the stock market isn't about the thrill of the moment, but the discipline of the long haul. So the next time you're tempted to invest based on hype or panic, take a step back. Let the whirlwind of emotions settle, do your homework, and ask yourself, am I investing for quick thrills or for long-term growth? Because while impulsive investing might make headlines, it rarely makes fortunes. Now leave a comment below of what you've learned for this lesson and how you are planning to avoid these 7 obstacles. Thanks for watching. Until next time.